So I am talking female fitness myths, and this week's myth is that as a personal trainer, strength conditioning coach, exercise physiologist, if you're working with women, that none of your clients have survived violence, or none of your clients live with pelvic floor dysfunction, or none of your clients have PCOS or endo or any women's health issue, right? A lot of us, personal trainers in particular, are going forth with our programming without any consideration for these issues that affect so many women that it's impossible that you're not training someone with one or more of these conditions, sometimes multiple versions of it. So, let me just go through the maths with you. If you've got 20 female clients, 1 in 3 women globally and 1 in 4 women in Australia experience gender-based violence. So that makes at least 6 or 7 of your clients who have survived violence, are victims currently of violence, or will be experiencing it in the future, okay? Over half of all women experience urinary incontinence, which is just one form of pelvic floor dysfunction or pelvic dysfunction. In Australia, it's 1 in 3 women have pelvic dysfunctions, and then risk of pelvic dysfunction increases with age, type of birth, and type and level of sport. So for example, CrossFit athletes, up to 80% of them will experience urinary incontinence, whereas general populations, the rates are 30%. So if you are just training, regular clients, you can expect 1 in 3 of them to have some form of pelvic dysfunction. So again, if you have 20 female clients, that means 6 or 7 of them are going to have some kind of dysfunction. The more elite your client is, the higher the likelihood that your client has pelvic floor dysfunction. So off the top of my head, sports like gymnastics, track and field, volleyball, they carry risk of urinary incontinence, even if the woman hasn't had a child yet, into the 70 percentiles and more, whereas sports like swimming and golf are like 0%. So the sport matters, the level matters, the activity matters, but guaranteed, if you have just 4 female clients, guaranteed at least one of them has pelvic floor dysfunction. So if you don't know, you don't know. Women of reproductive age, 12 to 21% of them have PCOS. So this is 2 to 4 of your 20 female clients. And they have different nutrition and physical needs to general populations. So PCOS impacts increases risks of secondary disease, so like diabetes is the main one, for example. You would train that person a little differently, give priority to strength training because of the way that impacts insulin sensitivity, right? 1 in 7 women live with endometriosis now. That's up from 1 in 9. Endo's an inflammatory disease, so at least 2 to 3 of your 20 female clients are living with endo. Diagnosed or undiagnosed, it can take us 12 years to get diagnosed. I can go on and on and on. Women are more likely to develop osteoporosis, arthritis, sarcopenia, autoimmune disease, dementia, and 100 other conditions. And we need to screen for them. The idea that all your female clients are perfectly healthy, uninjured, and are able to train with the same protocols as same protocols as other women you train, let alone the men you train as well, it's flawed and it's not true. So you actually don't need to know much about training someone with these conditions or lived experiences, but you do need to know they're there. And this is why you need to have a different screening protocol for your female clients than you do for your male clients, so that you can refer them out so that you can look up appropriate exercise for those populations, so that you can modify your training protocols. You need to start asking, and these conditions are going to poke their heads up, okay? So for example, and I'll just be quick on these examples, it's fairly self-explanatory. If you're a male trainer and you've discovered your female trainer has survived violence, you might avoid standing over them yelling, "Give me 20," all right? I'm not sure if any of us do that anymore, but being more sensitive to these issues is absolutely a strength for your business. If you know your client has pelvic floor dysfunction, you can avoid high impact. You can work with their physio. You can successfully rehabilitate it if you know it's there to begin with. And then PCOS and endo, it's a bit more nuanced. PCOS, you basically treat like diabetes, and endo is an inflammatory condition, so you want to bring down inflammation, even as exercise is inflammatory. We know this. But there are things you can do, right? There are things you can do to mitigate that tendency. You can go out and get educated when you know your client has one or more of these conditions. You can ask them to educate you. You can work with their doctors. Like, it opens up a whole new world of accessibility for your female clients to train safely with you that isn't there if you're not asking. So in the comments of this video, I've put a link to a free course, The Art of Pre-Screening Women. It's mostly centered on pelvic floor dysfunction, but you get the gist of it. If you start asking, they start telling, and then you are empowered with a shit ton more tools to literally change their lives and do good work with them. Any questions, direct message me, otherwise I'll see you next week.